Welcome to Backtracking CTE Pathways Year 1 Update. I am Arlisha McQueen, your research project coordinator. In this Year 1 update, I am going to review the project's purpose, provide you your project status update, and share with you next steps and expectations for you. The Backtracking CTE Pathways is a 3-year project between Florida State University and Tallahassee Community College. The use of backtracking approach to identify hindrance, facilitators, critical junctures in students' pathways. The project is funded by the National Science Foundation's Advanced Technological Education Division. It's led by Doctors Marsha A. Martis from FSU and Calandra Stringer from TCC, and several other college partners and experts. The project benefits from researchers, practitioners, and key experts. Also at Florida State University, team members include Faye Jones, co-PI, Eve Rondery, Senior Personnel and Outreach Director. Also at Tallahassee Community College, team members include Joy Walter, Dean of Business Industry and Technology. Our expert panelists include Rick Burnett from FSU, Associate Provost for Strategy and Analytics and Interim CIO, and Lee Wong from TCC, Associate VP for Institutional Effectiveness. The project research coordinator is Arlisha McQueen, and the project research assistant is Denise Gomez, both at Florida State University. The evaluator of the project is Dr. Will Tyson from University of South Florida. Next, I will share with you our college partners. Our college partners provide feedback about the approach and ensure that the findings are applicable and feasible to two-year college. Each college partner has an IT lead or department chair / director of information technology, which is the program we're studying in backtracking, along with an IR expert who will be consulted in the institutional research need of the project. And here you will see a list of our college partners and their participants. This project aims to achieve the following goals. Each goal will be reached by answering these research questions. Our goal 1 is to improve and understand of critical junctures that led student retention, graduation, and in-field employment of IT students in two-year programs. Our goal 2 is to deepen the knowledge about instrumental nature of IR for evidence-based decision-making in academic affairs, support services, and informal learning programs to improve IT students' retention, completion, and employment in two-year institutions. Our goal 3 is to strengthen the support system for all students, but especially the underdeserved and at-risk prospective technicians. Our goal 4 is to build a capacity among community college to routinely backtrack their own pathways. And finally, our goal 5 is to discern regional economic impacts of improved IT student retention, graduation, and employment. There are 4 phases of the Backtracking CTE project. In phase 1 of the project, TCC and FSU are jointly developing and implementing Backtracking CTE Pathways approach to capture the experiences of completers and current students using an iterative development process. We're also creating appropriate visualization tools. The TCC and FSU team will share the approach with our college partners at our annual academy and gather feedback on the feasibility of using this approach elsewhere. As we move into phase 2 of the project in year 2, TCC will implement the Backtracking CTE Pathways approach, identify barriers and challenges to implementation, and develop a model for backtracking 2 cohorts of AA and AS students. TCC and FSU will modify the approach as needed and review similarities, differences, challenges, and using the Backtracking CTE Pathways approach and in the models generated from the approach. The TCC and FSU teams will share the approach with other college partners at the Year 2 Annual Academy and explore the feasibility of using the approach at their institution. In phase 3 of our project, the project evaluator, Dr. Tyson from USF, will explore the feasibility of implementing the findings of Backtracking CTE Pathways approach to include financial costs, identifies anticipated barriers or challenges to adopting the influences proposed, and establishes the extent to which backtracking CTE pathways approach and models generating strategies are generalizability and replicable at different types of institution at our annual academy. This process culminates with an improvement plan and preliminary budget for implementing plans identified to increase graduation and completion rates. In phase 4, the evaluator and the research team will develop and use an impact evaluation and preliminary economic analysis to provide participating institutions with meaningful feedback on their graduates' economic and educational contribution. We are conducting annual academies at the conclusion of each project year. The first year is coming up. In these academies, we will disseminate results, obtain feedback on backtracking CTE pathways approach and pathways models, and build capacity among our partners to backtrack their own students. The academy curriculum includes 6 workshops or models with the following goals. Goal number 1, share TCC FSU IR data collection, analysis, and reporting tools for backtracking CTE approach. Goal number 2, share and develop alumni tracking social media plans. Goal number 3, share TCC FSU pathways models identified. Goal number 4, state colleges inventory available IR data and set IR collection goals. Goal number 5, state colleges learn strategies to create models. And goal number 6, state colleges identify barriers, enablers of the backtracking CTE approach, and hypothesize their own institutional models and economic impacts and provide feedback on the approach. We'll talk a little bit more about that and the timing of the content in year 1 academy a little bit later. At this time in the presentation, I think it'll be helpful for us to review our mixed method backtracking approach. In layer 1, the top layer, you'll see we have this graphic that involves collection of historical and quantitative student data using our database to identify degree completers, in other words, alumni, in IT, and investigate the students' academic history, such as the course they took, which courses they passed or failed, and GPA changes, certifications, or degree completion. We will also capture information about the completer's high school entry information, like their high school GPAs, test scores, and dual enrollment statuses. Layer 1, IR data also includes obtaining alumni demographic information like ethnicity, race, gender, age, along with alumni contact information. Students who transferred will be identified through the National Clearinghouse. Layer 2, facilitated by the extraction of cohort contact information in Layer 1, includes archival data from alumni surveys to explore the students' outcomes, such as student employment outcomes. This will provide a job title, job salaries, and job readiness to the major or advanced degree seeking. The same cohort contact information will be used to survey transfer students. FSU has been successful at obtaining employment information from alumni for the past 5 years. Layer 3, the qualitative data include alumni interviews that will further explain the pathway decision and how students navigated critical junctures such as failed courses, dropping of GPAs, changes in majors, and transition period between degree completion and employment. This approach allows us to create individual alumni profiles and formulate structured interviews based on informed IR-based pathway data. Qualitative interviews will explain or expand on influences like tutoring, informal engagement activities, faculty mentors that the student used to successfully navigate the pathways, and in-depth questioning to explore whether or not these influences were institutionalized or sought out outside of the institution by the students. To interpret the data, we will use in vivo to record, transcribe, analyze, and aggregate data to identify recurring themes and then analyze the data using open coding to identify useful quotes, influences, critical junctions, and other relationships. The research team will then identify the categories, connections, and important junctions that emerge from the data. Quantitative data will be cleaned and exported to Microsoft Power BI for appropriate analysis using the descriptive and inferential statistics. We have a lot of work to do, but a lot has already been done since we started this project in August 2020. We have collected literature to understand student performance indicators and what post-secondary success means for students at two-year colleges. For instance, we have collected and are analyzing definitions for student success and have found that they include completion, persistent, proficiency, employment, or economic self-sufficiency, personal development, life readiness, post-degree to another degree continuation, engagement in activities, and content mastery. Specifically, Kinsey and Ka in 2017 defined student success as increasing the number of students from different backgrounds proportionate to their age cohort, consistent with national goals for post-secondary attainment, who participate in high-quality educational programs and practices culminating in high-quality credentials. For example, certifications, certificates, degrees, and proficiency that enable them to be economically self-sufficient and civically responsible post-college. The definition by Kong makes a very interesting point about success needing to be defined after and not during educational experience, which is very consistent with the backtracking approach. We have compiled data from TCC and FSU IR systems and identified over 30 IR variables that are consistent with performance indicators from institutional database that helps us to understand student pathways in areas of coursework, student demographic, academic performance, finances, enrollment and withdrawal data, etc. We have established a cohort data to filter our cohorts beginning AA and AS degrees full-time students from year 2017 to 2018. We have developed and pilot an alumni survey to explore completer employment outcome to include job status, job pay, job location, and alignment of job to major. We have developed interview questions for AA and AS completers and non-completers across the performance indicators, and then align these questions to our IR variables and alumni surveys. We have also piloted the social media component of the survey by using the embedded features and the use of LinkedIn. Finally, we have presented the backtracking technique at the Air Forum 2021 conference, where we received great feedback on the approach, along with recommendations on how to utilize the approach as a decision-making tool to improve students' pathways and services offered to the students. With this, we are on schedule and ready to move forward into year 2 activities. There are many upcoming activities in summer 2021 to include the launching of the alumni survey, the interviewing of AA and AS completers and non-completers. We will also conduct our first partner academy in September and are asking you to help us finalize the date by completing a brief questionnaire. Here is a tentative agenda of the Partners Academy. We anticipate providing more detail about the backtracking approach, conduct important focus groups, and ask our IR experts to provide an overview of the foundation and trends in institutional research. The Academy itself will be conducted online, although we are in hopes to have future academies in person. At this point, we have 3 important activities we would like for you to complete. Please complete the Qualtrics questionnaire by Friday, July 23rd. It asks a few questions to include the availability of Partners Academy in September. Number 2, just a quick reminder that the assigned IT lead and IR rep for each partner college are required to attend the academy in September. These are the partner representatives that were identified at the beginning of the presentation. And number 3, after the academy, please send an invoice for year 1 completion to Calandra Stringer at the email provided to your request your year 1 funds. Just a quick reminder, we can process your invoice once you have completed the following: answered the questionnaire, attended all required meetings, Partner Academy. And remember, representation for both IT lead and your IR representative is required, as both of you are essential to the success of the project. We are excited to partner with each of you to better understand how backtracking can assist students in navigating STEM pathways. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact the project leads listed. We look forward to seeing you at the Academy. Thank you.